Microplastics. They're tiny, often invisible, and they're everywhere. But what exactly are microplastics? They are minuscule particles of plastic, less than 5 millimeters in length, that have become a ubiquitous part of our environment. They come in many forms, from fragments resulting from the breakdown of larger plastic debris, to microbeads found in personal care products, and synthetic fibers shed from clothing during washing. These particles differ from larger plastic debris in their size, but also in their ability to infiltrate virtually every corner of our world. Their small size allows them to travel with water currents, wind, and even infiltrate the soil. They're in our oceans, our rivers, our soil, and even the air we breathe. From your toothpaste to your favorite fleece jacket, the sources of microplastics are as diverse as the places they end up. These minute particles, though small, pack a punch when it comes to environmental impact. Microplastics have invaded every corner of our planet. These minute particles, often no larger than a sesame seed, have found their way into some of the most remote and unexpected places on Earth. Let's start with our vast oceans. They are, unfortunately, a major dumping ground for these particles. From the surface to the deepest trenches, microplastics are present, swirling in currents, settling on the seabed, and even freezing in Arctic ice. But it's not just the oceans. Our rivers and lakes are inundated too. In fact, studies have found microplastics in the sediment of our freshwater systems, carried there by rainwater and runoff from urban and agricultural areas. And let's not forget our soils. With each application of sewage sludge or compost, more microplastics are introduced into our agricultural land. They're absorbed by the roots of plants and gradually make their way up the food chain. Even the air we breathe isn't free from microplastics. Tiny fibers shed from synthetic clothing and tires, or fragments from larger plastic debris, can become airborne and drift on the wind, settling everywhere from city streets to remote mountain peaks. The scale of the problem is truly staggering. Research suggests that we could be releasing as much as 5 trillion microplastic particles into the environment every single day. From the deepest oceans to the highest peaks, no place is free from microplastics. The invisible threat of microplastics is causing visible damage to our ecosystems. These minuscule particles pose a colossal challenge to our wildlife, both in water and on land. In our oceans, marine animals often mistake microplastics for food. This ingestion can cause physical harm, blocking digestive tracts and reducing the urge to eat, which can result in malnutrition and starvation. But the damage doesn't stop there. Once ingested, these microplastics can accumulate within the animals, creating a phenomenon known as bioaccumulation. This means that as one animal eats another, the concentration of microplastics increases up the food chain, impacting not just a single creature, but entire ecosystems. And it's not just our oceans that are at risk. Terrestrial ecosystems are under threat too. Microplastics have been found in our soils, ingested by earthworms, and even in the air we breathe. They're entering our food chain from every angle, impacting everything from the smallest insects to the largest mammals, and potentially even us humans. What's more, these tiny particles can carry with them harmful chemicals, which can leach out into their surroundings, further exacerbating the impact on wildlife and ecosystems. The presence of microplastics is upsetting the delicate balance of nature and threatening biodiversity. They're tiny particles causing big problems, and it's up to us to tackle this global challenge head-on. Microplastics are not just an environmental problem, they're a human health concern too. We're just beginning to unravel the potential health risks associated with microplastic exposure. These minute particles can leach harmful chemicals, acting like tiny Trojan horses that carry pollutants into our bodies. Think about it. When we consume food or water contaminated with microplastics, or even when we breathe air laden with these particles, we could be inviting these unwelcome guests into our system. Emerging research is shedding light on the health implications of ingesting or inhaling microplastics. Some studies suggest potential links to inflammation, genotoxicity, oxidative stress, apoptosis, and necrosis. These are fancy terms for conditions that could lead to serious health issues such as cancer and cardiovascular diseases. We still have a lot to learn about the impacts of microplastics on human health, but one thing is clear. Our health is intricately linked with the health of our environment. While the problem is vast, solutions are within reach. To combat microplastic pollution, we're seeing a surge in technological innovations. Scientists are developing methods to capture and recycle microplastics, while startups are creating biodegradable alternatives to traditional plastics. Policy initiatives are also crucial. Governments worldwide are banning microbeads in personal care products and encouraging industries to use less plastic. But there's a role for each of us to play too. By making conscious consumer choices like using reusable items, avoiding products with microbeads, and properly disposing of plastic waste, we can significantly reduce our personal microplastic footprint. Yet the most potent solution is collective action. We need to raise awareness, advocate for stronger policies, and participate in local cleanup efforts. It's a shared responsibility to protect our planet for future generations. Remember, every little action counts. Together we can turn the tide on microplastic pollution. Awareness is the first step towards change. And that's precisely where we stand today. The issue of microplastics, as daunting as it may seem, can be tackled. But it begins with you and me. It starts with understanding the gravity of the situation and making conscious decisions that reduce our plastic consumption. Consider this: every time we choose a reusable water bottle over a single-use plastic one, we are contributing to the solution. Every time we opt for natural fiber clothing over synthetic ones, we are reducing the amount of microplastics that enter our environment. But individual actions, while important, need to be complemented with broader systemic changes. We need to voice our support for policies that curb plastic pollution and engage in local cleanup efforts. Advocacy, in this case, isn't just about making noise, it's about ensuring our voices echo in the halls of policy making. Each one of us has the power to make a difference. Act now for a plastic-free future. Thanks for watching Random Realm. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.
It's London Lee.